Hey there, and welcome to a video about a video game I made. Um, as you can tell from the description and from watching the screen, I made something kind of like the old video game Arkanoid, which is, again, as you can see, you have a little paddle here that you can move back and forth, and as you do so, the ball bounces off. I think it's kind of similar to Pong, but now there are these objects that you destroy, and uh, as you do so, you get points. You can see I've got a little point counter thing here. Yeah. So anyway, this game looks pretty dumb, right? But it's not done yet. I have some bigger plans for that, which I'll talk about. But before I get to that, I just kind of want to say a bit about what I've actually done. So yeah, what are some of the features here? Um, First of all, you can tell that the paddle, the platform here moves left and right, doesn't move up and down or anything. The ball bounces. So in Pong, the ball just kind of bounced um, as if the paddle were kind of stationary, I guess. And here, if you bounce, um, depending on where the ball bounces on the paddle, it bounces in a different direction off of the paddle. So there's not any like the paddle's motion is not important. It's just the position on the paddle where the ball hits. So hitting in the center makes the ball just bounce up and down, and hitting on like the outside edges makes the ball bounce at like a steep angle. So that's one thing. It took a little bit of programming that was fun to figure out. There's these bricks that um, you can set up to have different life, so the number of hits that it takes the ball to destroy the brick. And you can also set up the number of points that you get when you destroy a particular brick. So in this simple scenario, I just have, as you go up the rows of bricks, they take one more hit, and you get the number of hits as points when you destroy the brick. I've got a life counter down here, so if you run out of lives, then the game just quits. And what else? What else? I tried to set it up so it'd be easy to customize. So it'd be easy to customize levels mostly. So like this particular stage, and there's a second stage in here that I have in there, just kind of like let's say a test to make sure it works. But there's each stage has the locations of bricks and potential images that you. So if you don't want to, you can just use like a default image for the brick, which is just this white square, white rectangle. But if you don't want to use that, then you can point to a different image, and the program will use a different image for that brick. Again, if you haven't done much programming, all that stuff is it's pretty silly, but yeah, it took some thought to actually make it work. Let's see, what else? Yeah, so that's about it for the features that I have in there. I guess the only other thing that I'll mention is that I also set this up so that you have this config file has pretty much all the settings that you would want to set other than what's in the each stage has its own configuration file, but then there's like a configuration for the entire um, the entire game. And so it's got things like how big is the screen, how big are the counters, like the life and score counters. You can set the speed of the ball and the speed of the paddle. You can set like default colors of things. Anyway, so just a lot of like tweaky things that you can put on this config file, which I really quite like. Let's see, do I want to show? So maybe I'll show a config file for one stage here. So let's see. So here's for the second stage. It's pretty bland looking because it's just a bunch of brick locations and the images that we use for them. So this is the stage you don't see up here. And you can also specify the background image. I sold this cloud picture off the internet. So I'm not making any money on this, though. Don't sue me. Yeah, so I guess that's about it. Like I said, this isn't done. I still have lots of things that I would like to do to this, and depending on how much I end up wanting to do, like this could become like a really interesting and different game. But I won't talk too much about what I foresee in the distant future. But what I kind of like to do, like tweaking around this thing, just kind of with the existing structure that I have in here, I want to put in better graphics for everything. So I don't want the paddle to be just a white rectangle. I like to have, like some nice image in there that looks like a spaceship or something like that. I don't know. Same thing with the bricks. Like, I don't know, the bricks are kind of boring. They're just plain rectangles. Like, maybe I'll put something else in there. And I haven't decided what those images look like, but I'll do that eventually. Same thing with the ball. What I'd really like to do, I think, for my first round of making this game like attractive is have like a paper theme. So like everything will look like crumpled up paper or like cardboard cutouts or stuff. And I'm not really sure how well I can do that and make it look good, but that's the idea. And then the background would be something to go along with that theme, other than clouds probably. And then what I want to do next. Right now, there's just 2 stages, and I'll try to finish this stage so I can show you the second one. But because I have the game set up in a certain way, I have the code set up in a certain way, it's really easy to add additional stages. So what I'm going to do is try to design some interesting stages. Oh, I guess I forgot. One other thing is that you can have bricks that aren't damaged by the ball. Oh, I just lost life. That aren't damaged by the ball, and so use those to create obstacles. And so, I'm thinking I'll set up different stages for obstacles and stuff. And that would be, I guess, that's about as much as I can do with the current structure of the code. So here's the second stage, which is basically just a placeholder. It looks almost exactly like the first stage. But so I might, try to make some stages with obstacles in them, and then I guess maybe the next thing after that I would like to do is I would like to have like power-ups. So arkanoid has a lot of power-ups in it. So like, for instance, the ball will go faster, or the ball will go slower, or the ball will stick to the paddle so you can aim it. So I'd like to think about putting different power-ups in there. And I have a very fun idea for a future plan if I get that far. Of how the power-ups actually work. So that's probably be like 3 or more versions away from peer review. Getting into the power-ups. Let's see. I'm going to host this on GitHub. It's already on GitHub, so I'll provide a link in the description where you can go download it and fiddle around with it if you want. You'll have to have Pygame and Python 2.7. Apart from that, play around with it. Tell me how much you hate it or like it, and what things should change. And I guess until then, thanks for watching.